got our agenda here. We're going to make a couple of changes. Commissioner Summers is going to be calling in, so we'll have Commissioner Bingham give the invocation, and we'll ask Sheriff Potter will end up on our agenda giving the Pledge of Allegiance because our Community Development Director, Scott Lyons, isn't going to be here. So anything from Lynette? Do we have anything from tourism? You're just here to make sure we gather information, right? Okay. Cody, anything on buildings?
Just discussion for the agenda.
For the monument thing idea? Okay. Sheriff, anything? Okay, anything from IT, Keith? Okay, anything, Chrissy?
We have the
Predator control contract? Okay. Yeah, is it?
It's just the same thing as
Yeah, it's a predator control contract we've done every year, right? Okay. That should be a problem. And anything, Marla?
Yes, you don't have minutes to approve this time.
No minute, yeah, we won't be approving minutes tonight, so that's, yeah, you've been a little busy. We appreciate all the work you've been doing there, so. Charlene, anything we need to bring up an administrative meeting?
Not
You're
much
here-
have questions about the budget.
You're ready to present the budget idea, okay. Commissioner? Commissioner Summers, anything?
I'm good.
Okay. Oh, Gina just walked in. Anything, Gina, for administrative meeting? Okay, we're good? All right. All right, we'll adjourn from administrative operational, and we'll get started at 5 p.m.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You got us done. So I've been actually. So I'm kind of going back and forth about Wednesday and fall.
All right, it's 5 o'clock here in Boxer County, and we're going to call this commission meeting to order here on November 6th. We'll start off with an invocation given by Commissioner Bingham, followed by a pledge of allegiance led by our Sheriff, Kevin Potter.
Our Father in heaven, as we come before thee at the beginning of this commission meeting, we're grateful unto thee for the blessings of our lives, for the opportunity to live in a land of freedom, where we have the opportunity to express our support through voting systems, and we're grateful for the blessings that we receive and for thy mindful care of our situation and how we can move forward. Thankful to be able to serve here in Box Elder County and for the people who live here, and pray that we will be able to do what's best, to best serve them, and be able to look for the future and accomplish much good. We pray that thy spirit will be in attendance with us this night, that we can be directed by thee, that what we do will be according to thy mind and will. And we express our gratitude unto thee for all of our blessings. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
The audience, please stand and repeat after me. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we won't have any minutes. Our county clerk has been a little busy trying with our election. We appreciate all her work and all of those volunteers that helped make the election here in Box Elder County go off. I want to congratulate all those who won, and we recognize that we have our presumptive commissioner-elect here with us, commissioner-elect. We appreciate you being here in the meeting and look forward to working with you. Hopefully, if all the votes continue to go the way that they look like they're going to go. And we have so you'll be here on the 19th, so we can officially have our canvass that day and confirm all those votes. So appreciate that. The only thing, let's see, I just want to bring up that most people are aware, we do have a Truth and Taxation meeting on November 13th from approximately 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. that night here at this building for us and the library. And want to point out that Commissioner Summers is online on the phone tonight. Anything on the former agenda items we need to bring up? No. Okay. Let's go to our public interest presentations, and we have to start with Terry.
Hey, did you want to talk about the Boys and Girls Club community thing on the commissioners' stuff, Lee.
Yeah, you
We
want to
did
just
today.
tell them about what happened today? That'd be great, Commissioner.
Yeah, we had finally, after a decade of work, the Boys and Girls Club had the community campus groundbreaking today over at the Mountain View School, where I don't even know how it all came together, but thankful for Janelle Jeffries and Monica Holdaway and all their efforts to be able to get everything that's going to happen in that area. It's going to be a very good thing for Box Elder County and Brigham City and surrounding towns to be able to have that up there. And if you want to go online and see more about what's going on or go up and take a visit, you can do that. But yeah, it was a great thing today to have Congressman Moore there and Senator Sandel there to be able to get that ground broke so we can get going.
And I was going to say, they're actually doing right now an open house for the public that wants to go down and walk through and see everything they have down there till I think 7 o'clock tonight. So,
Yep.
okay, great, thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, we'll go to our first item on our public interest. Terry Friedel, if you want to come up and talk to us about requesting a fee waiver for use of the fairground pickleball tournament. Friedel, sorry. Come on, have a seat right there. And you just pull the mic around, then you'll introduce yourself and tell us.
Hi, I'm Terry Friedel, and I am the president of the Tree Mountain Women's Civic League. And for the past 2 years, we have used the fairgrounds to have our pickleball tournament where we try and raise money so we can do things for our community. Some of the things that we help with is the Boys and Girls Club, the Tree Mountain Garland Libraries, the Senior Center. We give a couple of awards to the students at the high schools. We help with the New Hope Crisis Center, assisted living at our house, and we've helped do backpacks and sweatpants for the schools. So we try and earn money to help with these causes. And the last 2 times, you have waived the fee for the use of the pickleball courts. And we were hoping you would do that again this year.
So when are you planning on using it?
It's the end of February,
End of February?
yes.
For a weekend, a week?
Just one, Friday night and Saturday.
Oh,
And have we talked to the fairgrounds to make sure that it's available then?
Yes.
Okay,
We
so-
have it scheduled, like
Yeah.
the 26th.
Okay.
I'd make a motion that we waive this for Terry Friedel and the good things that they do throughout our community.
I'll
Thank
second
you,
it.
Stan.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Commissioner Summers, did we hear from you?
Yeah, I said aye.
Okay. Sometimes
Thank
it
you very
doesn't
much.
doesn't come through on the phone. All right, thank you.
Thank
Passes
you.
unanimously. All right, the next item we have is Matt Tingy, a question concerning Beehive Fiber.
Hi, I'm Matt Tingy, and I'm with QuickLink Internet. I guess questions I got is who owns the fiber that is being put in by Beehive Fiber?
Pull that microphone a little closer to you.
Commissioner, do you have any information on who owns the fiber being put in? Commissioner Summers?
As far as I know, it's between the state and Beehive.
Okay.
So the state and the Beehive have both done that together. Why?
That's just a question that,
I got told,
Oh, okay.
I got
We're
told
being
by you,
asked.
Commissioner Summers, that Box Elder County was owning the fiber when you originally started. Is this still true?
that I'm aware of, we do not own it. I don't think we own it from what I understand. I don't-
We've looked at basically, it's just a grant agreement that we've got, doesn't discuss ownership of the,
Okay,
and where it's not discussed, it would typically be by the company that installs it, would own it.
so most likely it's owned by the company.
You're saying it's owned by Beehive Fiber?
That or the state of Utah, one of the two that put in the money. But the grant agreement strictly through us. It was not.
Yeah, we just put the grant money together so they could get it figured out.
So we, the people, are putting in a private company in the county to compete against county individuals providing internet to our county people.
Well, Matt, if we go back to the start of this thing, you had every opportunity to go put in just like Connect and Beehive did. So I'm not sure what to tell you about that. Beehive won the contract for that one.
It was never presented to anybody else. It was always
presented to everybody.
It was always to Beehive.
No, Connects actually was on the actual thing, and they bailed
Okay.
in South Willard and Willard. So
I guess the money came from the state, or did it come from Bragg?
it came from the federal government. Some of it came from the federal government. Some of it came from the state. There was some from CBDG, Community Development Block Grant money. And then we used some of the ARPA funds to match to be able to get everything else done.
And that was 1.2 million?
I don't recall exactly how much.
I think so. I think it was 1.2 million. And then, like I said, the CBDG was 970,000 that came through the Community Development Block Grant to be able to pull some off of the freeway. But the ARPA funds ran all the fiber from Brigham City north on both freeways. That was through ARPA funds through the state.
Okay. So if I would have spoke up earlier, I could have had all the fiber in my name for $458,000. Is that correct?
You would have had to you would have had to put in like everybody else did, and then they would have chosen whoever. There was 4 or 5 different people that put in for it, and Connects actually got part of it, and then they decided they didn't want it. So Beehive ended up with the contract through the state.
Yeah, so to date,
Yeah.
Beehive has put in $458,000. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
I don't recall what, I know there was a matching component that they put in, but I don't have the exact number in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember either, Matt, to tell you the truth, but I think it's more like
Okay.
We could check.
1.7 million in engineering plus all the matching stuff that they put in to be able to hook up everybody for free. So you'd probably have to get those numbers through the state broadband committee with Rebecca Dilge. She could tell you.
I have talked with Rebecca. That's why
Okay.
this is why I'm asking these questions. Because, all right, I guess on to the next question is, being the fiber on the poles, is Box Elder County getting a special rate for the municipalities to be hanging on the poles?
No, they have to go through Rocky Mountain or whoever's poles they are.
So they're paying $7.50 to be on the pole.
I don't know what that
Here again, that's
number is.
that's
I
Beehive.
just know that they have.
Well, Bragg and Beehive in the state would have set that up. Bragg did the county's portion. Bragg was our contracting agent. We worked through, with this, who our contract was through, correct? The way I recall the contract, it was through
I haven't
Bragg.
looked at the
Is-
contract.
So we'd have to go back to Bragg
Who
and
do I
find out.
contact with Bragg?
At this point, it would
Well,
probably be
Brian Carver, but
Sean,
he's
actually,
gone.
no, actually, it'll be Sean. Sean Milne is who you'll have to contact at this point, because he's taken over for Brian, and Sean will be able to work with Lucas and find out the folks. So yeah, if you can work with Sean,
So
he
I can
find
talk
out.
with him after the meeting and get with him about some of this
Yeah, Sean can-
information.
Yep.
Okay, so Box Elder County does not own the fiber.
No.
That's my understanding. Yes.
Yeah, so we, the people, are just wasted X amount of dollars to connect a percentage of people in the county that we all get to pay for, and we don't get to take advantage of it.
There's people.
I'm
that are
not sure
connected.
what that question's there.
Well, there's only a select communities that get to use this fiber. That's what I'm saying. We all
Well, I
are
was
gonna,
just-
we all are
I
going to
was-
get to
I
pay
was
for
just-
this, but we can't.
But like I told you, Matt, if by federal law, if they come within so far of your whatever your connections, I know that Rise Broadband is one of Beehive's biggest customers, because they run fiber to their connection. So if they're within so many feet, you have access to anything they have if you're a company. So yeah, that's misinformation on your part.
They have what now?
With the fiber that's in the ground, the way I understand it, there is discussion with Bragg that you should be able to connect in with any of this fiber that was put in by federal money
Uh-huh.
and through this money. that you as a company could contact them and they should have a way of allowing you to access that fiber, just like in Perry with Utopia, different companies connect in. There's a fee associated with it, but it can
Yes.
be connected into it, yes.
Well, like Utopia.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I did contact Beehive, and they won't let me allow me on that line.
And have you talked to Rebecca Bilge about that?
No, I have not talked to
That's
Rebecca
probably,
about that.
between Sean and Rebecca are probably our two best people to talk to about that concern.
I got told that I could not be connected to their service because it was for residential only.
I don't have an answer for you on that. I don't know. The commissioner.
I
does,
don't,
but-
I don't either. I'd have to talk to Cameron to see why they told you no, Matt. And so you're not with Rise Broadband anymore. It's now what?
I've never been with Rise Broadband.
Oh, I thought it was Rise Broadband. Sorry.
I'm buying my data from Syringa and Utopia, both.
Okay.
So
So Quick Link.
QuickLink Internet has been doing it. Yeah, we service 600 homes
Okay.
in the county.
All right.
I just see
Okay.
that you actually gave them another $600,000, and I was like, I could have hooked up all of Riverside and Fielding for that $600,000.
Well, it started off with the underserved and underserved stuff. So the 600,000 that went was to finish the things that were going out in Howe that they'd already started through the ARPA fund and all that other stuff. So that was what that was for. So
The dark fiber that's in our county, who can help us with that?
The what fiber?
Dark. We have dark fiber running all the way down Iowa String. Who can help us with that and get in contact?
who owns that? I don't.
Is that you?
American
guys?
Fiber,
I have-
American Fiber Company owned it, and they went out of business in 1997, but it's still laying in the ground.
Oh, I have no idea.
So that's
I've
why it's
never heard
called
of
dark
that.
fiber, because it's not operational.
It's dark. Yeah, it's dark. It's not lit
Okay.
up.
But it's on Iowa String.
Yeah.
It sounds like you better talk to Rebecca about that too, and make her aware of that.
Had no clue about it.
She doesn't know about it. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't.
But,
I haven't heard
and
about
UDOT
it either.
hasn't put any in there because I guess that's a county road, not a state road. So
Yeah, that's county road.
yeah,
This
okay.
is county, so
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
asking.
I have no idea.
That's a good question.
Before my time.
So where does it go? Down Iowa String?
It goes
from-
all the way down Iowa String, up through Elwood, across the freeway, and it goes on out to the Thykal.
Oh,
Did
really?
it connect to the freeway, Matt, through I-15 then?
It does.
Or was that after?
It comes to the south
Right.
side of it, that I know of for sure.
Oh, okay. Huh. I've never heard of it or that company.
This
so.
is why I wanted to know about Bragg. Maybe they would actually help me figure out who owns it.
We would ask Bragg and we'll ask Sean to work with you to maybe help find that out.
Well, and like I said, if Rebecca doesn't know, and she's a state broadband specialist,
It's out of date.
Yeah.
yeah, I have no idea. But maybe we can figure it out.
It was put in.
I'll make some calls, Matt, and if I find
When,
out,
when
I'll
was
let
it,
you
when
know.
was it put in?
It was 96, 97, around there.
1996, 97. Okay, so okay.
Okay.
Even
We'll make
prior,
some phone
prior
calls,
to Snowville,
Matt, and
that,
if I
I mean,
find
like
out,
Grouse Creek.
I'll
thing,
figure it out.
Wow.
Okay. That's all I
Okay.
needed.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay. Our next item on our agenda is from the Auditor's Office, a public hearing proposed transfer of $1 million from the Box Elder County Landfill Enterprise Fund to the Box Elder County General Fund. Charlene. So let's see, we need to connect you up, don't we?
I have this spreadsheet also available on the website. It's a calculation of how we changed, how we're calculating our host fee and admin fee. We passed a ordinance last spring, and in comparing what actually happened over the past years since 2008 and comparing it to what it would have been if we would have been consistent in how we did our admin fees and host fees, we would have collected 1.1 million more dollars, and so that's just justifying the $1 million transfer that we're suggesting be made. So I just wanted to do that introduction before the public hearing.
Okay. So we're in a public hearing. Is there anybody from the public that would like to discuss the transfer of the $1 million from our Box Elder County Landfill Enterprise Fund to the Box Elder County General Fund, as it's been explained by our county auditor? Yeah, come on up.
Okay, Deanna Hardy Brigham. So why are we choosing to transfer this money from the landfill to the general public fund?
To try and keep taxes as low as possible, and we've been paying, we've been using this fund out of the landfill, and we've been paying for things out of general fund money, and we need to make sure that we're transferring the proper amount back to the general fund to help cover costs for other things in the county. So, because what's that? Administrative costs, right?
Okay, well, I
That
know,
we've expended and taken care of over the years.
I know that Brigham City has been doing that with the utilities. They've been
Right.
transferring for years, and
Right.
now they're in trouble needing to pass a $20 million bond for the utility department. So I and our committee would oppose it. I think this is wrong. You should keep the money in the landfill because you never know when you're going to need it there for new machinery to help with the landfill. I think what we're doing in the general fund, there's a lot of things that we could turn around and do differently. Just like with our elections, we could go back to in-person voting. That would cut a lot of the, that would take like $20,000 right there. There's the bookmobile, we could turn that back to the free market. There's so many things that we could do to put our fund and make our taxes lower for the people. So what were you going to say, Stan?
Oh.
The bookmobile has nothing to do with this, so sorry, it's its own private taxing thing, and you'll have your opportunity to talk about the bookmobile later, so.
Well, what you're saying is you want to transfer money from the landfill to the general fund to pay
No,
for
we're
the
saying we
bookmobile-
want to actually
the
pay
bookmobile-
the people
to pay
They're
what?
actually using it through the counties, like that does the roads, that does the
Right.
security, that does the bookkeeping, that does all these things,
So like we
but
paid,
coming out of the pocket of the citizens.
see, that's.
And it should be coming out of this business enterprise fund.
That's,
instead.
yeah, that's what Commissioner Summers is trying to explain, is like our county roads provide the making sure the roads are plowed and taken care of up to the landfill. They make sure that they help with things that need to be done at the landfill. We have folks here on our HR that are helping the landfill. So we're basically saying they can pay their fair share. Since they're a business fund, they can pay for their proper share of those administrative costs as a business that's working for the county. That's why we're transferring the money, is to pay for the services that they're getting rather than pass that fee on to the taxpayers.
Oh, so you're saying you want to take the money from the landfill to pay the people that are plowing the roads and things like that for the
The
landfill?
administrative cost, because you have different departments in county government, and the landfill actually takes in money. We don't charge people to go out and plow the public roads. We plow the public roads. But if we're providing a service to the landfill as a business, they should be paying an appropriate amount to take care of it. Just like if I'd hired a company to come do it, they're going to pay the county back and say, okay, we're going to cover these costs. If I hired
It's
somebody
just like
else
the
to do it.
cities. Some of the cities contract with us for plowing roads. They contract with us for
thing.
police services. They contract with us for other things, and they pay their fair share.
Okay, well,
So this business-
I can understand that. I thought you were taking money out to pay for other
No.
programs.
No,
No,
Okay.
no.
reimbursement.
No.
Okay, thank you. That makes it clear.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? If not, I'll close the public hearing and we'll bring it back to the commission.
You need a motion to close the hearing.
Oh, you want to make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summers to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so we're closing the public hearing and we'll come back to our resolution 2416, now that we've had the discussion.
So I will make a motion that we approve Resolution 2416, authorizing the transfer of funds from the Box Elder County Landfill Enterprise Fund to the Box Elder County General Fund.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summers to support Resolution 2416, authorizing the transfer of funds from Box Elder County Landfill Enterprise Fund to the Box Elder County General Fund. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Okay, now we're going to go on to the tentative budget presentation by, Switching back and forth.
Okay, this is just a general statement of what Box Elder provides as a county government. We provide general government, public safety, public health and welfare, streets and public improvements, the fairgrounds facilities. We just talked about the landfill, library services, and other conservation and development programs. And these are the funds that exist in the county budget. And that's a description of how they're used. So the library is a separate fund with its own taxing, like Stan mentioned. Tourism has its own specific funding source. Justice Court through fees, the landfill through the fees that it charges. Municipal Services Fund is for those municipal type services provided to the unincorporated areas of the county. And then general fund is general operations.
And then we'll go into, in a minute, after this, we'll go into the RDA and have a discussion about the
Right.
RDA funds.
Right. These are the highlights of what is in the budget. We are proposing a tax increase with the truth in taxation that will happen next week. And so that $2 million that would be anticipated is included in the tentative budget. We also get $2 million in assessing and collecting funds that specifically have to be used for assessing and collecting. Municipal Services also has their own tax, property tax that they collect, and the library has their own tax that they collect. And they are also proposing a tax increase that would be $100,000.
And just clarifying so people understand, the municipal service fund is strictly those who live in unincorporated Box Elder County that are in cities that are not incorporated, correct?
Yes, and in a minute, when we get to that part, I'll show you which departments
Perfect.
are in that fund.
Thank you.
As far as personnel, we're proposing a cost of living increase of 3.5%, and then we also do a merit-based increase based on evaluations of 1%. Our health insurance is proposed to do a big jump this next year of 11.8%. And we also have included in there a 5% more coverage by the county of that health insurance for the employees. And there were some market salary adjustments again this year. I think we're getting more close on those, that there are not as many as there have been in the last couple of years. And then we also are proposing a market adjustment for public safety of an additional 1.405%.
And these are all things that we're dealing with, that we've looked at based on what the cost of living is, the increase with inflation, and what we're seeing, especially with public safety, with other public safety being able to compete and try to hire people. Is that right?
Yes, so Human Resources does a study every year and compares us to counties across the state and other organizations to try and keep us competitive for similar type positions.
Oops. No, it just came loose. We'll make-
Charlene?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Stan, and I know we went back and forth in emails about this, but I'm still struggling with the plain fact that we've got these other two new taxes coming in. And I'd feel better about watching what happens with these other two new taxes coming in for the Municipal Service Fund and for transportation. I mean, because that's going to take care of that $2 million plus that we're supposedly increasing. So I'd still like to see that come through before we worry about another truth of taxation on top of everything else.
So,
but that's
Stan,
just me.
and I don't know if I skipped over that on my slide, which I can't get to come up, but I did also include the public safety tax of I estimated 3 million increase from the public safety tax, so that's also included in the budget. And that was an estimate I got from the tax commission.
Okay. And the transportation.
And the transportation tax, yeah, is included
on there
in
also.
revenues for municipal service as well. So you'll notice if we get to those lines and it shows up that there's a figure for transport tax in the municipal service fund as well. I don't know why it's not working.
Did Keith leave?
Change your presentation mode.
There we
you
go.
go. Okay.
Okay. These are the elected officials' salaries that we make public. They're basically getting the same increase as all the other employees as far as cost of living, with a 1% merit to each of those two. So total of 4.5%, plus an adjustment to the sheriff's salary as well. Every year we do a transfer from Justice Court to the general fund to also help offset public safety costs with court security and transport and those things that the sheriff provides. And
So,
then,
I
go
have
ahead.
just a quick question. We had to add additional funds for that indigent defense fund. Do we
Yeah.
have that included in the budget this year?
That's part of our, when we get to the general fund and you see the non-departmental, that's how we pay for our public defender budget. And there is an increase in there for the portion that's no longer being able to be covered by ARPA funds that we've done the past 2 years.
Okay.
So I did increase that line as well.
Okay, thanks.
And then our building department is centralized, and so all of those utility costs and building and ground costs get charged in the general fund, and then we take what those actual costs are for the various buildings for the other funds, and we charge that to them at the end of the year through a transfer. And that's what those maintenance and utility transfer is that you see up there. And then in order to, this year I've kind of changed it so that the capital project funds reflects all the capital projects of the county. And so each of those funds will be transferring how much their capital projects are for the year into the capital projects fund. Assuming we leave.
Charlene, since I can't see that, does this show what you're pulling from PILT every year and which funds it's going to? Because when I first started, it was 2.6 million, and I think now we're up to like 4.3 million.
It's more like 3.7, but somewhere in that range, and that is now, it used to be put in the municipal service fund, and then we would transfer it to capital projects to help cover capital projects, but because the general fund was struggling as far as balance-wise, I changed it so that all of that PILT money is coming into the general fund currently, and it is reflected in the revenue line in the general fund.
Okay.
This budget summary gives you a total of revenues coming in by fund, the transfers that I just talked about, and then the expenditures. And you'll see that per the budget, we're still showing that we're spending more than we're taking in. It's typical in our budget that we don't come out that way, and so that's why I've added a couple of extra columns to help you kind of get a feel for what actually happens. So I put what the surplus or deficit was at the end of 2023 next to each of those funds, and you'll see that the general fund did expend 1.6 million more than we took in. Municipal Services Fund, because of the extra money that we're receiving for roads and such, did have an increase of 1.5 million. The landfill had a big amount come in because of work with P&G, so they have been growing their fund balance over the last 2 or 3 years. The rest are pretty close as far as, breaking even. And then I also showed you where the fund balances were sitting at the beginning of 2024. This is what brings up my concern with the general fund. It was at 5.9 million starting at the beginning of the year, but if we continue to lose at 1.6 million every year, we're going to run out of general fund balance. You can see the municipal service fund has a healthy balance, landfill has a very healthy balance, all the rest, I feel fairly comfortable about.
So hopefully this year, the next year, I mean, we're not talking 11%, you know, inflation, which, I mean, that's the problem with the last 3 years. The inflation's gone through the
That
roof.
and market salary adjustments, we have done quite a bit over the last couple of years.
Okay.
I've tried to do a few graphs to just give you a feel for how we get, what revenues we get. So this graph shows overall county. So this is for every department and everything. Our taxes, property tax comes in about 41% of our revenue. Sales tax is 18%. And then we get various other, and there's that PILT payment, which makes up about 11.7% of our overall revenue. So we do rely heavily on that PILT money. And now this is the expenditures for all the different departments in the county based on this year's budget. And you can see that sheriff and public safety is by and large our largest department, and roads and landfill. And we do have quite a bit.
What percent is that, Charlene?
It's-
What percent is the public safety? Is it?
Sheriff is
80%?
28.4 of our whole budget, including landfill and everybody, justice court, all the different departments.
And capital projects, for the most part, are one-time funds, correct?
That will range greatly year to year depending on our requests
the
and what
building-
you approve.
Yeah, building,
So-
that's buildings, that's cars, that's the
A big part is a landfill projects that's proposed in next year's budget to have another house and another scale put in.
And
So
another pond- and
that
another
is pretty
pond.
large this year.
But they have their own money to back it
Yeah,
up. It's not coming from any other
exactly,
fund
for
besides
sure.
that
Right.
business fund.
Yeah, and I try with capital projects to make sure we're using those restricted funds that they have to use for themselves first before we use any general fund money if we can. This is just to give you an overall view, bar-wise, it's kind of similar to the graph, but this is just general fund of what makes up the budget expenditures. Again, the sheriff's department's by far the highest part of our general fund. And then if you dig down further into public safety, you can see that by far the jail is our biggest expense in the county. This is our municipal services fund, and you can see that roads makes up the largest portion of municipal services. We also have building inspections, community development, and then a portion of the sheriff's department also gets paid out of the municipal service fund based on a percentage that was done in a study of how much time they spend in unincorporated county.
And we also have to pay for our fire services.
And fire and ambulance, emergency management, a big portion of that is out of, and weeds and roads.
Yep.
So. This is our tourism.
Charlene?
Yeah.
Have you looked, and maybe just even this next time, to have a graph of what we compare to of other third and fourth class counties, so people will actually take a look and see what they're getting for their money?
Yeah, we
Can you
could,
do that?
I can reach out and try and compare
That'd be great.
budgets.
And I know-
Sure.
I know UAC has those numbers usually. So
Right. They're a good central source. We could look into that.
Yep.
If you look at the tourism fund, they're pretty equally split between fairgrounds, the tourism office, and then the county fair. Fairgrounds does have a little higher expenditures. And by the way, each of these columns is your 23 actual, the 24 budget, and then the 25 budget in comparison of the three different colors. This is our general fund expenditures by more like a category of type. So if you look, you'll see that personnel and benefits make up 54.5% of our overall budget in the general fund. The professional and tech line's pretty big. It's all of our contract services and such, that's 24%. Like I
And
said,
that's where our public, our where we put the public defenders and stuff, right?
the public defender will be in that professional tech line.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah. And capital projects, like I said, I tried to keep it pretty low in the general fund pulling from there. So it's only 6.75%. Municipal Service Fund expenditures, still a pretty large majority personal and benefits, a little bit less than the general fund, because they do have a lot of supplies and materials that they buy for road projects and such. Tourism Fund, less is personnel because they do have all the fair contract services we do for the county fair each year that makes up 19% of the fund. Landfill expenditures, you can see it's big for capital projects this year just because of the planned project, or it would probably be higher in the personnel benefits portion of it. And then our justice court is mostly personnel and benefits, and then that big transfer we do from the fund. Library, and they are proposing getting a bookmobile this year, so normally that capital project wouldn't be that high, but they are
Proposing to get a new truck, right?
proposing to get a new truck this 2025 year. These are all the capital projects that were approved by the commission. At least, I mean, we're not final, so, but this is when I,
Tentative approval, right?
pending your final approval. So you can see the scale building project at the landfill's 1.5 million. So that's by far our biggest project we have planned.
Shirley, does it have a graph on the growth, on what the growth was this last year?
I did not include growth, but actually our property tax collection went down in 2023 because of all the telecoms getting pulled out of centrally assessed. So I actually saw a reduction of about $1 million in property tax revenue to the general fund because, and I don't know if that's the only cause, but I know that was one big factor that changed last year, so.
And actually, I think there was some assessed values on personal property that caused some small reduction in personal property to some folks.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other things that assessing and collecting could tell you what caused the decrease. But we did see a decrease this last year, and we're planning to come in with the figures right around 9 million with this year's collection. We don't know where we're at exactly because we're right in the middle of doing that collecting.
And we don't have in our budget for this year the hit that we're going to take of the $400,000 to $800,000 on the centrally assessed Ruby River pipeline thing that we're being told that we're going to end up having to pay back. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, that could affect how much we actually get this year if we have to pay back, because we are collecting on it currently based on the value they'd placed on it.
Okay.
I did provide to the commissioners a historical of property taxes, and I will present that during the Truth in Taxation, and it is available on the website as well, so you can kind of see the growth that way because I've included a percent of how much it changed year to year since 2008. So that's available on the website as well. And this is also available on the website along with detailed numbers that I didn't do as part of the presentation. It's available for the public to review. And at our next commission meeting, we'll have the public hearing regarding the budget. I wanted to give everyone a chance to review it. If you have any concerns or questions, then at the next commission meeting, we'll hold our public hearing regarding the budget.
Right. Okay. Let's see, anything, commissioners, you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay, we appreciate all the work you guys, your office has been doing on this. And we'll continue to look at this and look at these numbers and be prepared for next week.
Do we do RDA later?
No, we're actually going to go into RDA right now since you're already up here and plugged in.
Okay.
So I'd take a motion to move into RDA.
I'll make a motion, we go into RDA meeting.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summers that we're going to go into RDA meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. We'll go into RDA. We need to change the. You ready? Okay. So we're going to call the RDA meeting to order here, and we'll go in. We have just one item on the agenda to deal with here, 2025 tentative budget presentation on RDA. Go ahead.
Okay. So now we're into RDA. I just left a little explanation here of what a redevelopment agency is. It's authorized by the state of Utah that implements the development goals of communities and is governed by state statute. They're used by local governments to clean up blight areas or implement other goals to help the local economy. And I'm bringing up this same budget summary because I do have the RDA on the bottom half of that. And you can see the overall revenues we bring into those RDAs, the expenditures out, and where our fund balance sat at the beginning of 2024. And then I've just simplified this a little bit by just showing you the numbers. We have an admin fund. We get a certain percent from each of the RDA areas for administration. Our professional development line is for sure the biggest, and it's contract services for economic development and various activities that we have related to the RDAs. We no longer have like personnel that comes out of that budget.
Charlene, when you said contract services, do you actually do RDAs like we were talking about with the landfill? You see what you guys are using your time and stuff and charging the RDA in that time?
We charge, I think 10% of each of the RDAs back to the general fund as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does it reflect there?
No, not on this. It would be back in the
Okay.
general fund revenues. I guess it would come out, it doesn't really flow through the admin. I think it goes directly from the RDA into the general fund, but I would have to
Okay.
look that up and show you, but,
Yeah, because I didn't see it in my stuff. That's why I asked the question.
okay.
And the one thing I didn't notice in here, we've gone through, I know we've talked about the AgriPort project, and I think there's a 40% match, so it'd be $16,800 this year that we may need to, I don't know which line that would go in on, so.
How much is it?
$16,800 would be the 40% match for that AgriPort.
Okay, we'll have to look at the figures and make sure we have enough budget in there, because I
Yeah.
wasn't aware of that one.
Okay.
The Ag Park is actually a closed RDA. It's no longer active, but we do have a fund balance. Through talking with the attorney's office, it is allowed to be used for housing, and so I'm showing spending out that remaining balance this coming year for housing projects. The P&G is an active RDA. We do still pay an incentive to P&G, and we are also paying helping pay for the bond to get the water out to P&G through the RDA as well, that we transfer to Brigham City through payment each year to pay off the bond for the water line. And that's the
And the
majority of what
first one
happens.
should be coming. The first RDA should be coming up due pretty quick, right? And then the bond was only for 5 more years.
Yeah, I think we're getting closer, and this, I'm trying to think, I think that we've got one more year where we're paying 90% of Procter & Gamble's property taxes back to them, and it'll go down to 70% at that point for the remainder, and so the taxing entities will get 30% instead of 10% back. We're close to having that change within the next year.
That's what I thought. Thanks.
The Plymouth RDA is still active as well, although we did complete our incentive payments to the Great Basin Industrial Project out there in 2021, so we're no longer paying any incentive payments out of that fund. I still put money in there, but I'm not really seeing any activity in that RDA and need probably help from our RDA consultant about how to properly show that budget. And that's all of our RDAs.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that presentation.
We'll have a
Make a
public
motion
hearing on
to
that
close
as
the
well.
RDA.
Okay, I have a motion to close the RDA meeting.
I'll second it.
I have a second from Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We're adjourned from the RDA and back into the regular commission meeting. All right. Thank you, Charlene, for that information. We appreciate it, and we'll continue to look forward. So now we have a couple things on the agenda for commissioners. Oh, we got to get, okay. So now we go on to some commissioner items here. We'll start with the Predator Control Contract 2439. This is the standard contract that we have in place. We've had it every year to deal with predator control. I don't know if we want to just,
It's just a pass-through.
right,
We just look like a pass-through. The state gives it, and they just have to pass through it to us.
Yeah,
It
we have a
doesn't
copy
cost
here.
us anything.
nope, it's just, yeah, it just takes care of the predator control problems here in our county and helps the farmers out. So I would entertain a motion for the predator control contract 2439.
I'll make
So
a
moved.
second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham's to approve the predator control contract 2439. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Okay. Next item is a letter of support for Lilac Solutions for lithium extraction project.
Sorry I wasn't here last week. My boy was in the hospital. I thought that they were going to have a representative there. All it is basically for the federal government saying that we wouldn't mind a lithium extraction company on the North Shore of the Great Salt Lake. And that's all it is. So, and it's probably too late for that, but if we pass it, I can send it to them and see if they still need it or not.
So it needs approval to do it, or is there any more information about?
No, it's just they're already doing it. They just have some sort of a government subsidy, like a tax. If the local authority, it's almost like the predator control, says that they'll support it. If they happen to get the things going, it's like $100 million plant that they'll be taxed on, and they haven't ever come and asked us for anything else, like an RDA or anything in that arena. So all it is just a letter of support saying that we wouldn't mind them bringing, 50 or 60 jobs and $100 million worth of stuff to our county. So. And they don't take any water or anything. It's a new lithium process. So.
The biggest problem I'm going to have is I don't know enough about what they're doing and how they're doing it to want to sign a letter to them at this point. I mean, I don't know if it,
Okay.
especially if we're past,
All right.
if we're past that point.
Then don't worry. Then don't worry about it.
So,
Okay. Go to the next one.
okay. Next item on the agenda is the commission approval of the use of our front steps of the historic courthouse on November 30th for the annual Kiwanis Club to bring Santa Claus to Brigham City. Would entertain a motion to allow the Kiwanis Club to use our historic front steps.
Has Santa Claus ever fallen on the steps?
He's never fallen on the steps that I know of. In fact, he gets delivered by a Brigham City fire truck most years, so
Okay.
hopefully they're there to keep him safe.
But I mean, in all joking, there's not a liability issue or anything of that nature?
No, I think Cody usually sets things up and takes care of things for us with the buildings and grounds, yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the use of the front steps of the historic courthouse on November 30th for Santa Claus.
Second.
I have a motion for Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summers. We approve the use of the front steps for Santa Claus over at the Kiwanis Club. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. And the other thing, this doesn't have to be approved, we just want to bring it to your attention. We've got all of our county departments are coming together to do a Christmas tree contest. We've got all the different departments decorating Christmas trees that will be up on the 29th of November, that Friday. And then on December 2nd, that night, we're going to, or that day, starting from the time the courthouse opens, and we'll stay open a little later that night, allow the public to come in and vote on which Christmas tree they think is the most festive and most theme-oriented, and so we're working with, Lynette's been helping us from the tourism office to make sure we have information and out there to the public and allowing them to come and see the festivities for Christmas here in Box Elder County and see what our county employees, kind of as a unifying thing for the employees to kind of see each other. And it helps the employees sometimes to see, when they see the trees, and if their trees are decorated based on what the office does, it kind of makes you stop and go, oh, that's what this office is all about. For instance, our auditor's office with her money tree last year, and we had our naughty and nice list from our human resources, and from our landfill, we had our garbage tree. So we have all kinds of great trees to look forward to this year. So we're just excited about that opportunity and inviting the public to come and see that and judge the trees and pick the best tree they think is the most representative of our county or that department or something like that. We just want to make sure the public's aware that on December 2nd, we'll be here and commissioners will be here. Hopefully, we can hand out a treat to the people who come by. And just so you know, Santa Claus will have been here in town, so he'll be right next door. So if the kids come and families come, they can go see Santa Claus that same night. So, all right, we've got one item on the community development here, and Scott Lyons isn't here, but Commissioner Bingham's going to take care of this. It's Quarter Preservation Fund payment request by Garland City.
So this request is associated with Garland City projects CPF 21-04 and CPF 22-02, both for the reconstruction and improvements made to West Factory Street. The projects were originally approved by the COG in April of 2021 and 2023, as well as by the County Commission in May of 2022 and 2023. Garland City has provided the necessary documentation, including fulfilling their match requirements associated with the project, showing they are entitled to reimbursement. The total request is $473,166.
Okay. Any discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second it.
You have a motion of Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham to approve the Quarter Preservation Fund payment request by Garland City on CPF 21-04 and CPF 22-02. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. All right, let's move on to buildings and grounds. We have placement of a Gold Star Monument at Historic Courthouse. Cody.
Cody Elam, Buildings and Grounds. I'm just looking for some clarification of where to put this monument. Stan and myself and Darren have, mainly Darren has been putting it together, so I'm just looking for some clarification of where we need to put it and some direction I'm after. So
So,
So we talked to Marla also. I'd like to get Marla and Chrissy on that. Also, we talked to them about where I think Marla's got a good grasp of things over like around G.I. Joe. And then if we get the 6 flagpoles behind that for all 6 branches of the military behind that too. And then I just got a request yesterday that I found out that Rocky Mountain Power is going to give us another $10,000 to be able to put that in.
So the location we're talking about would be to put it behind, like east of the G.I. Joe statue is where this would go?
Yes.
And does that affect us? What's that going to do with any electrical, water lines, et cetera?
yeah, it's
we
a
know?
fairly large monument. There's 4 pieces that are made out of steel that are the 2 tallest are about 6 feet tall, and so I mean I don't know how to lay it out. I know that there's some stuff still coming, Stan. I've got the 4 pieces, but I think there's a star, and I don't know.
Yeah, they'll be on the 4 pieces that you have. So there's not going to be any more besides an obelisk from Bott Monument as soon as they figure out what they're going to put on the monument, and it'll go to the side, whichever side they decide to put it on, probably the sidewalk side where people are walking up. They can actually look at the obelisk and see what that thing is for. So
I've got, let me pull up, I've got a picture of it. I've got it's actually 1/4-inch steel
Okay.
plate. And so, I mean,
yeah, Nucor did it for free.
Do we have a drawing or a map that would show us where the layout is, or so we know?
There's a cutout.
Yeah. Darren and those guys, and Cody was supposed to be there that day. We were talking about it, but I didn't see him
Okay.
out there that day.
And this would go, so the steel would be, we don't have to pour more cement, we just put it, I mean, because right now we got a bench there, I believe.
Well, there's
I
4.
guess
You could put it behind the bench on just footers. Darren and those guys, I've already got it planned out where they can just put small footers. They don't have to be big footers. And then those steel things will just be to the footers. I think, is Darren there, or did he
Yeah.
leave? Can't remember.
Well, he's here, and I've talked to him. He didn't know where it needed to be placed either, so that's why we're here. I'm not sure where to put it.
Yeah.
I've got to take one of the pieces that Darren dropped off. We have to take it back because it's got a huge warp in it. So
Okay.
we've got to try and get it straight and lay flat, and then we got to fix all the welds because the welds have broke on it. So yeah,
That's the first I've heard of that.
Well, we just
So,
yeah, I'm not sure if it did that from the
powder coating.
powder coating, but we've got to try and fix that.
And how does it hook in the ground? I mean, look
It's
at
got
this,
an L plate. It's got an L and we'll have to do lags.
and then put cement in the ground.
Well, that's just it. We can pour some concrete, or we can use the existing concrete. I just want to make sure that we are, telling me where to place it. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah,
We can meet there if you want to meet, Cody. Like I said, we had a meeting the one day and you didn't show up, so we can meet whenever you think you want to. And I think between Chrissy and
I mean, if you-
Marla and Darren and everybody, we could probably just figure out where would be the best place and the best looking place it would go. Hopefully with solar lights, so you don't have to worry about lighting and such. So
I think it's probably got to be approved by the commission to put it on the grounds, and that's why I'm thinking maybe we need to get a map and lay it out, and maybe even if you could get some blue stake, find out if there's anything that we're gonna impact if we move backwards and dig into the grass. That would be beneficial. I know for me to make a decision, so that I know that we're not digging something up that we shouldn't be digging up.
So I'll do an aerial picture of it and do a placement to see where it could lay
Where it
out.
will fit and look
and
okay.
I'll get it back to you guys, and then I'll work on trying to get that. The bases have to be all re-welded because they're just welded right now, and so
Okay.
we got to do some more work on that too. So
So if we can get an aerial map, a map of the ground so we can see how it lays out. And then we need to know is how's that going to impact our grounds crew and what they do. So
yeah, it is pretty tight over there. So that's why I'm here to say where
Okay.
exactly you guys want me to.
And is there anywhere else we could put it?
I don't.
That's the most logical location, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, it's around the War Museum monument, so
Right.
I'll put it wherever you guys feel is.
and where you put the flags up, that would be kind of cool to be able to have branched flags with each branch up there. We don't have that where other people do. So
Yeah, so you're talking six additional flagpoles.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we'd have seven with the one that we have now.
Current, yes.
right, so that one would be the tallest, and the other 6 would be smaller
Okay.
around the east side of it.
And the
On the other side of the
flagpoles, do
monument.
they come with this? Is that part of the deal with, we got the,
No, it's all our monument. We can do what we want, but
okay.
we just figured that the first time we went out to bid for this thing was $180,000, and they had a committee and everything else. The county put in $20,000 for it, and now we're actually going to be doing it for less than that. And the $180,000 was going to come and do it out of marble. It's going to take 2.5 years, and they couldn't even guarantee. And the marble is going to be so heavy, you're going to have to go put 4 or 5 foot footers in the ground. So when Newcourt heard about it and they decided that they were going to do it for free, and we decided that would probably be do good since we have 10 divisions of Newcourt in the area, and it'd be just like the one that's kind of up, or not just kind of like, but just like the one we have with the train monument at the fairgrounds that's been there forever. So.
Okay. You want to find out also look at flagpoles, what that would cost?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. If you'll get us that information, we can put it back on the next agenda.
Yep.
If we can get all that information
All right.
available.
That'll work.
Okay.
Cody, and I asked you to do that 3 months ago, remember, about the flags? We were talking, I said we had 6 other flagpoles we needed to go with that. So, yeah, we need to get a hold of Colonial Flag and get that done, if that's okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, that brings us to our public comment section here. We have one individual who's signed up for public comment. Again, the rules are those wishing to make public comment need to sign the roll, which they've done. Speakers have 1 3-minute opportunity to speak regardless of the number of items they wish to address, and they need to address the comments to the county commission only. It's a time to be heard. There will be no back and forth dialogue with commissioners, and they may file a copy of their remarks with supporting information to the county clerk. So with that, Deanna Hardy, if you want to come up.
Okay. Deanna Hardy Brigham. What I want to talk about today is the new state flag. When the pioneers were driven from city to city, state to state, and literally had to flee the United States of America to the Utah Territory because there was not a state or federal representative to help protect their inalienable rights. The government has sent infiltrators into our state to change the pioneers' belief and worship of God, and it is still happening today. The new state flag has erased a lot of our state's history. It has cost the taxpayers $500,000 for this new flag that was not needed, but it is a part of the agenda to erase our state history. The Box Elder Committee of Liberty opposes this new flag and endorses the former flag because it shows when the pioneers entered the Utah Territory in 1847, when Utah became a state in 1896, the seagull lilies, which provided food for the starving pioneers, the American eagle, our nation's bird, the American flags, a natural-looking beehive with worker bees, and the word industry, honoring the hard workers of Utah. When the new state flag is displayed, we are being complicit in erasing our state history. The Box Elder Committee of Liberty asks the Commission to restore our former state flag with our state history to remind everyone of our heritage. Remember your oath is to our republic form of government and to both constitutions, not to those state and federal representatives who are ignoring our constitutions and trying to destroy our republic from within or destroying our history. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'd take one final motion.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Yep. Yep. Oops, that goes to you.